Hello, freak bitches.
Ever has.
Every time he goes to kick that football, that bitch just pulls it away from him and he goes flying up in the air.
Damn it. Yeah. Maybe he needed to identify as trans. Then she'd give him a break. I don't know where I came up with that one. Oh, I'm gonna get lambasted for that.
They're gonna come for you.
Oh, they're gonna come for me.
You reached on that one.
Yeah, I did.
It's just like I want there to be some information that's real, and I think there are like Commander David Fravor's depictions and his descriptions of what happened, and there's other fighter pilots that were involved. They have video evidence.
Yeah.
That's compelling.
Yeah,
what is that? What does it mean? What is it doing? How is something able to go from 50,000 feet above sea level to zero so quickly? Like, what is that?
Yeah. No, I agree. And we've talked about that. That's one of the few things that I think is legit right out there and needs further investigation. Again, you have to pick and choose. Is there a reason to have an identification program in the Pentagon? Of course, goddamn there is. It's a national security issue. Figure out what the hell is flying around up there, right?
Right. If it's real.
But again, he wasn't there for the last couple of years of the administration, I think, but he was there for the debate prep, right? And he's come out publicly and said, I was shocked at his condition. So, people.
I think they set him up for failure in that debate.
No.
Why? First of all, why are they having a debate that late? Why would they agree to a debate at 9 p.m.?
Yeah.
When you got a guy who's really old and kind of broken down. Why would you do that?
Television timing. Who knows?
And it seemed like, didn't someone blame it on him being on Ambien?
Yeah, Hunter did. Hunter did. That fantastic interview that Hunter just did with, I forget his name, Andrew Callahan or something like that. He referenced, now he's walking it back, saying, I wasn't meaning that he was on Ambien during the debate. I'm just saying, they had him on Ambien because of his travel schedule. The guy was at Camp David and resting in Delaware for 10 days prior to the debate. Otherwise, this is going to be around like Martin Luther King and John F. Kennedy. Well,
that's what's crazy. They did release more Martin Luther King documents, which is really crazy. Like, why are you holding secrets about the murder of one of the most beloved historical figures of all time from 1968?
Part of that is a family request.
It?
Yeah, part of that's a family request. The family has asked, in the past on a number of occasions, they really don't want some of this because some of it, some of it's salacious about, Martin Luther King, which doesn't take away from everything that he did, right, as a leader of a cause and a movement. But some of it is,
extramarital affairs.
Yeah.
Things along
so
those
there's
lines.
been some push to be concerned about that. But now do the Epstein files.
I'm so done with late-stage capitalism. America is addicted to white supremacy. I do wish Hillary wouldn't use the language of boy and girl. It's erasing language for non-binary people. Lots of jokes about leaving the U.S., and I get it. But as someone with cis-white mobility privilege, I'm thinking I'm staying and investing in ridding ourselves of the specter of tyranny. Never underestimate the ability of white people to center ourselves. White silence is complicity. I'm white, so my hair doesn't automatically carry with it the freight of my race, worth, and everyone else's encoded assumptions.
Utopian perspectives are really attractive to young people because you see the way these older rich people have been running the world. It's all corrupt. They don't care. They're all capitalists and monsters. All they care about is money. I don't have any money. I want them to take the money away from the rich people and give it to the poor people, and then everything will be fine.
Yeah.
It's like a common thought amongst young people.
Look, I get it. If you're a young person, you probably look at your parents. If your parents have done okay, done well, And you're thinking, well, that, maybe I'm not going to be able to do that, right? I mean, a lot of young folks now are saying, I can't buy a house.
Everyone knows it doesn't make any sense.
He's not launching himself off the first floor balcony. But they're actually doing, right, as we speak, and I find this fascinating, is that the Assistant Attorney General, Todd Blanche, is down in Florida for an interview with Ghislaine Maxwell, right? So this is the first time the Department of Justice, you're telling me, and meanwhile, up on Capitol Hill, you've got Democrats like Adam Schiff and others going, we have got to release these fucking files. Now, some folks on the legal side are saying, well, look, if she had anything interesting to say, she would have said it during the course of her trial. Everybody's worried now. Now, all of a sudden, they smell, blood in the water and a particular, political motivation here. You think this freak show of Epstein wasn't like, it didn't have hidden cameras or wasn't taped and shit? Or what,
100%.
I mean, come on.
So, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing about that house. That house they had in New York City, which is, by the way, for sale. And,
oh, really?
Yeah, nobody wants to buy it. Like, you want to buy Epstein's house?
Do the cameras convey?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, you got to gut the walls. How are you going to know what the fuck is in there?
Yeah.
Imagine you're walking around your house naked and you think that the CIA is, or your organization, or whoever it is.
To be fair, the agency's
Mossad,
got a lot of hours of videotape of me walking around naked.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But Mossad, whoever it is that was involved in this intelligence gathering, I mean, I'm just guessing. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But there's fucking pinhole cameras all over that house.
I'm just saying that, if we had any balls, we would have had enacted term limits quite some time ago. Anyway.
Yeah, well, and at the very least, they should block insider trade. I'm sure you've seen that time when she was questioned about insider trading.
Yeah.
Well, we should be able to participate.
Yeah.
You're not participating, lady. You're making hundreds of millions of dollars. And it's insane.
And this is not a partisan. I agree with you 100%. It's not a partisan issue. It's
at all.
Everybody gets up on there.
Yeah, if you look at the trades, if you look at it between the red and the blue, it's across the board. They're all doing it. Yeah. I think it's like it lures them in. I think once they get into office, and even if they have good intentions, they get lured in by a corrupt system. And then they play ball.
And it does. I'm approached maybe once a month about doing a new series, focused on UFOs. And my point is always the same, which is like, what are we going to talk about?
Right.
What are you going to show that's going to be something new that maybe people learn something about?
Right.
And it's always the same. Look, I'm not saying, again, I agree with it. There's definitely stuff out there, right? We've explored, like a drop of water in a glass of the universe, right? So there's stuff out there. I've just, I approach it all from a skeptical point of view. So.
Well, I think you have to, because there's also, unfortunately, a market in talking about these things. And there's a lot of grifters out there that have made a career out of telling you they know.
Yeah.
I have the information. It's been brought to me, and I'm going to release it. And it's like Lucy and Charlie Brown with that goddamn football.
No. I've never taken. Have you taken Xanax?
No,
neither. Yeah,
that stuff's scary. That's what fucked Jordan Peterson up. That stuff's really hard to kick.
Oh,
yeah. Benzodiazepine is one of the hardest things to kick. It's one of the things that if you get off it cold turkey can kill you.
Good God, really?
Yeah, and they put everybody on it.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. It seems like it's readily available.
As is Adderall.
Yeah,
readily available and fucking super bad for you.
Although during during the pandemic, you couldn't get Adderall. I remember that being an issue, right? I remember reading stories about that.
Make it overseas?
Couldn't, yeah, exactly. As they do with most of our pharmaceuticals, including what we've been talking about.
These are the options. Yeah. The only options that you have. So you have this terrible situation where you're always like shitting on the other side, and there's no like, hey, this is the president now. Let's all work together.
Yeah. What if you had a setup like Mexico? Mexico has a presidency where you serve a 6-year term, and that's it. You're done. One term, but it's 6 years. I don't know.
It's the same thing. Yeah. It's still the same thing. It was like, these people fucked it up. We're going to do a better job. And then they get in, and it's the same fucking thing.
Yeah. Well, and also you get the self-interest. Obviously, that's not rocket science. But if you can be a senator for 46 years, or however long.
Which is nuts. Do you think that they made an agreement that Elon would say that you're on the Epstein client list, and that's why you won't release the file? You think that Donald and Elon came to that agreement?
Yeah, just sitting around over a Diet Coke thinking, that's a good idea.
They're all in on it. Like, are you out of your fucking mind?
What do you think about Musk's political party?
First of all, my wife told me you really can't name it the America Party. It's not legal.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Yeah.
She's told me. I believed her. So Jamie will find out.
You didn't follow up.
No.
You didn't follow up. You weren't interested.
We were eating dinner.
Thanks, honey.
We were eating dinner. She goes, you can't just call your party the America Party. I go, really? She goes, no, you can't. You can't use the term America for your party.
Which makes sense. Could, but
I would think you couldn't because I'd be like, fuck you. I'm the America Party. Yeah. It's the whole country. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They set him up for failure in that debate. I think they wanted him out, and this is the way to do it.
Yeah. Look, people's confidence level in politicians and government institutions and the media is at an all-time low. So it's really disappointing. But I don't know how. I'm not sure where I'm going with this, other than the fact that it's very depressing if you think about where our focus is right now. They could have done it, and they chose not to.
I want them to take the money away from the rich people and give it to the poor people, and then everything will be fine.
Yeah, and that's another thing.
I think once they get into office, and even if they have good intentions, they get lured in by a corrupt system, and then they play ball.
They've always had an interest in influencing U.S. politics.
Now, when you say meddle, do you mean like social media bots? Do you mean like influencing politicians? Like, what do you mean by meddle?
Yeah, well, I mean, in the early days, what were they doing? In the early days, they would pay off trade union representatives, right, to push a certain line, to push for a softer tone, much like the Chinese do now, push for a softer tone against the Soviet Union, right, or during World War II to push for isolationism, keep the U.S. out of the war, right, before the Nazis turned on the Soviet Union and then they tended to need us. Or they would pay journalists to write articles pushing a particular point of view. And so there were those things. Now, social media meddling is a lot easier, right? It's a lot cheaper.
For sure they do that.
Yeah, for sure they do that.
And for sure they did that in 2016.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's good things that are happening. The closing of the border is clearly a good thing. Yeah. That was fucking scary and dangerous.
Yeah, no, from a policy perspective, look, the other day they had like 9 crossings, right? 9. Right, compared to maybe 10,000, 11,000, 12,000 a day in the previous administration. So that's a huge win, and that's what they should be talking about. And they should be talking about the trade deals. Right, they got a good trade deal with Japan. They got a good trade deal with Indonesia. They've got a good trade deal with Vietnam. They signed one with the UK. They're getting ready for the European Union. There's things that they should be talking about, and instead, once again, we're fucking consumed with what we've been discussing, Epstein and the intel manipulation. I mean, you're thinking Biden's condition and
Obama and treason.
Yeah.
Is it for sale?
65 mil 2 years ago, it says.
Holy shit.
It's not for sale right now?
Not according to Zillow.
0 bedrooms, only 1 bath. Well, that's not a very nice place. What the hell?
It's just one big fuck hall.
It's just, we call it the playroom. And
this is the
look
house.
At that. Oh my God! It looks like a Saudi owns it.
$65 million in Manhattan.
What the hell?
The wild thing is, though, it's like right on the street. Like anybody can come to your door and just knock on your door, like walking by.
Yeah, Prince Andrew.
It's weird. Living there is weird.
Yeah, look at that.
Meanwhile, no one can explain where he got the money. No one can explain why he got so rich. And Eric Weinstein, who is a legit financial guy, said he talked to him. He had a meeting with him once. He's like, it was really clear that he's a construct. He's like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
That's not for sale right now?
That didn't say it was.
Oh.
It's listed on Zillow, but not for sale.
Yeah.
You definitely did today.
Dude, I'm going to your show tonight. I'm going to love it.
Okay.
America wants to know this before I go. The White House card, is it happening?
Supposedly. Yeah. Wow. Supposedly July 4th next year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
July 4th next year?
Yep.
Okay, it's going to be amazing.
It should be wild.
Is Jones coming back?
I don't know. It's a lot of time between now and then. He's a wild card.
Yeah. All right.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see him.
Are you kidding
fight
me?
for the title.
Oh
it keeps going.
I love the music. The music is good. Whoever came up with that soundtrack is good.
Jesus
God.
Christ.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the thing that I sent you, the Lockheed Martin thing, is people are claiming, it's again a lot of horse shit. Who fucking knows that Lockheed Martin created that Tic Tac, and that there's been 3 different versions of it. I sent you that, right?
Who are the people claiming?
So the idea is, this is what I wanted to ask you about. So this is a congressman who says this. Congressman Eric Burleson dropped the bombshell evidence that Lockheed Martin has developed 3 generations of Tic Tac UFO technology. Is that real, though? Did he say that, or is this just a fucking tweet?
Let's quote is right there. I had 2 people come to me.
I understand that, but did he actually say that, or is that just a quote on Twitter?
No, I believe he said that.
Right, you drive up towards Malibu and everything's just gutted.
Yeah.
Right? So you think, and it's because you've got thousands and thousands of regulations in place that prevent the reconstruction. Right, just trying to get a simple permit for something takes you forever, and it's
going to be years.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting because Gavin Newsom obviously is in sort of a soft campaign right now to set the table to run for president. I mean, he's desperate. He's like some kid who wants to be the class president.
Did you see him on Sean Ryan's podcast?
I did not. I'm sorry I missed that one.
He's doing podcasts.
Wow.
It was a disaster.
Well, he's got his own podcast, right?
Allegedly.
Yeah. So how do you do on Sean's?
Terrible.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And then
remember
the
that?
city was
Remember
like,
that?
okay.
That Led Zeppelin cover of the Zeppelin blimp crashing.
Yeah.
That was to just erase blimps from history.
Facts.
We don't want blimps. They're too dangerous.
Led Zeppelin was on board with this. The CIA got a hold of Led Zeppelin.
Dude, you don't think the CIA created the music business?
Well, no.
You guys don't know about
musicians,
that?
I think musicians.
You don't know about this?
Yeah, but I think
Read the
musicians
book.
created the music.
When you find out the CIA,
Jim Morrison
they created the hippie movement. They created it. They created the record scene.
They might have taken
the
advantage
music
of
industry.
No, who was Jim Morrison's dad? Tell him.
Joe knows this.
Yeah,
Jim Morrison's dad did what?
He was like a CIA guy.
Yeah,
piece of
he
shit.
orchestrated the Gulf of Tonkin false flag.
Yeah, they got rid of USADA, but USADA went dirty on them. They said they were doing it for Conor McGregor, so they could get Conor McGregor and not have to test him. He's not on anything. He's clean. They tested him.
Terrible.
Weird scenes on Loyal Can. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get
It's
it
a great
Dave McGowan. Holy fuck. They orchestrated all that shit.
And when you look at the other bands that were living in Laurel Canyon at the time, it's nuts.
It was all CIA and Lookout Mountain Laboratories. That was a top secret Air Force intelligence. Dude,
You know who owns that now? Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
Yes, but the people
Wonder
who
Why?
wrote the songs were musicians.
What do you mean? You wonder why? You think Jared Leto?
I don't know, Jared. I don't know.
Something's going on there, man.
Listen, 30 Seconds to Mars, they got a good song. They got a song called Echelon.
Is it
That's
weird
That's
scenes?
a good song.
Yeah.
Hold on.
But
Is
I
it
don't-
weird scenes
but
inside
I
the
don't know.
canyon? And I said, I really don't know enough about it to comment other than, look, if you're a person and you do something, like even if you're a comic and you do something on Netflix, like when I've done Netflix specials, they just say, it's doing really well. And you go, like, what does that mean? Like, how many people are watching it? We're really happy.
Yeah.
What does that mean? We're really happy. It's doing great. What are the numbers?
What do you think is the purpose of keeping it secret?
Well, it's a genius move because they don't have to tell you. So you can't really negotiate. Like if you do a special and that special is 10 million people watch it. People go, oh shit,
It gives
we
them
gotta
all the
pay
leverage.
Hassan more money next time. Because if he finds out that this many people are watching, you don't know until you go out on the road and then you sell more tickets and you're like, oh, people enjoyed it. I guess it worked.
Right.
But when you don't have any data from the company, they could just not give you the data. Someone said, I forget the tweet, but it was something along the lines of, you're not going to be able to ever know what's real again.
Oh, and if it feels this way looking at the news with what's going on over in Israel and Palestine, it's like, what am I seeing?
Yeah.
And now we just know if none of that information is true.
And I think it was in 2015 they passed a law that allowed the CIA to use propaganda on citizens for the greater good of the nation. Former President Barack Obama signed a law in 2012 allowing government propaganda in the U.S. and making it perfectly legal for the media to purposely lie to the American people. And the amendment did not repeal the Smith-Mundt Act, but rather lifted some restrictions on the domestic dissemination of government-funded media.
And then I guess later we find out that they're really influencing these news companies anyway.
Like on their side, it's great for negotiation.
It's just they have all the leverage.
Part of our promise with creators at the time we started creating original programming, our creators felt like they were pretty trapped in this kind of overnight ratings world.
We're doing this for them.
So part of this was the relationship with the talent, not just the business aspect of it.
It does seem interesting that he says that, like, oh, we have, a show might do better as time goes on, and the initial box office numbers might not reflect that.
So I would imagine that has something to do with, I think if you were an actor and you were a star of a Netflix movie and it was fucking huge, you would want to know what the numbers are. Someone said, I forget the tweet, but it was something along the lines of, you're not going to be able to ever know what's real again.
No, and if it feels this way looking at the news with what's going on over in Israel and Palestine, it's like, what am I seeing? How much of this is real? How much, like, the propaganda on top of that, the like
shitty reporting.
It's like it's so interesting that we have phones and we have the access to information constantly, and now we just know if none of that information is true.
Well, we just know quickly what actually happened if you're online and paying attention, and the mainstream news is so far behind that.
Right.
Coleman Hughes was on yesterday. He was saying that the original narrative was that Israel bombed a hospital in Gaza.
Right.
What actually happened was another Islamic terrorist group launched a missile. It failed, and it landed in the parking lot of the hospital. So this is fake.
He's had some time
Paulo
off.
Costa was the most tested.
Yeah, Paulo. I know Yeri's tested a ton.
All the dudes that look juicy, they go,
Yeah. But can we agree USADA's good for certain sports? When it comes to the UFC, it's been a disaster.
They're a bore.
It's been a disaster.
Well, the problem was they were waking guys up at 6:30 in the morning on their fucking weigh-in day. They were doing crazy shit like that, trying to get samples day of the fight.
And you got to report 365 days a year, and you're a subcontractor. It doesn't make a lot of. It doesn't fit the business model of the UFC. All good. So now they have this guy from ATT who rolls with the boys, maybe a little acai himself, and he's like, yeah, he's good. And I'm like, I like that guy.
Yeah,
fuck yeah.
Yeah, but there's a conflict of
Belfort.
interest potentially if
You think?
an ATT fighter.
2022, Yuri Prohaska was tested 64 times.
God. Wow. So he's the most?
That was just last year. I mean, I don't know about all time.
I wonder why they tested
That's
him
harassment.
so much.
That's fucking
Paulo
harassment.
Costa was
Well, he fights like he's on meth.